You're probably thinking, oh, what a shit photographer. Oh, he only took one picture last year. He's wank. That's on you. You're the one that saw the video. You're the one that saw the thumbnail. That's on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That was clickbait. That's your fault. Yeah. I confess. I don't want to make you feel bad just as you're starting to watch this video. I confess, my fault. My apologies. Okay, sort of complete clickbait. I mean, that title was missing one word. One word. And that word is good. I only took one good photo last year. This video that you're watching is heavily inspired by another video that I consequently saw yesterday from a channel called Negative Feedback. And their video that's all about taking 2 good photographs in a year. And the overall premise, and I guess you could say conclusion of that, was that taking 2 good photographs in a year was seen as a positive thing. In theory, it's kind of like job well done, you know, especially those photographers who are incredibly self-critical of their own work. I'd rather have, you know, less photographs that are good than, you know, maybe 10 photographs that are sort of mediocre. And really that was the whole idea behind the video, and behind this video is that I think sometimes less is more. And when it comes to the case of having maybe 1, 2 or 3 photographs that are really good in a year, for example, capturing those ones in a year, that's in my opinion the photographs that will ultimately stand some test of time, and that in 3 or 4 or 5, 10 years down the line, you look at those photographs and you think, fuck me, I did that, you know, I did that, I created that moment in time. It's special. So when I started to look back at the photos that I took last year, going through my social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth, and also looking at my hard drives, you know, the photographs that have been published to an audience and also the photographs that have not been shared, I started to have a look around to see, you know, what photographs would really fit into that category of exceptional, you know, which one is the one that was ultimately the best photograph that I took. I realized that I had a lot of good stories behind some of the photographs that I had taken, some of the photographs that I obviously had taken that I thought were good. I had some pretty good stories, and 2020 for me was the year that I had ultimately started my photographic career. You know, go figure, in the middle of a pandemic, but that's how it was. Yet one thing is having good photographs and having great stories behind them, and that's fantastic, you know, all well and dandy. But another thing is actually having exceptional images, you know, images that really stand out from the ones that you've taken. And photographs that are like S on the tier list, right? Top shelf shit. And those are the images that I kind of like had to filter and find. And there was one photograph, and that is the one that you're about to see right now. Looking back, that photograph for me was really special. It was kind of proof to me that I could really do something with a camera, and that going back to a location continuously kind of paid off, you know, not giving up in a sense, kind of paid off. What ultimately became that photograph, it didn't just have a good story, but it was also a great quality image. I think that photograph was also special because it was that photograph that when I had shown it to other people who weren't necessarily too interested in photography, that photograph was sort of their proof of, you know, what I could potentially do with a camera, and how I could approach a subject, and how I could approach a landscape and really create something. I know it sounds cheesy, but, you know, magical, right? But yeah, that for me was also quite important, kind of like a little mini milestone in a sense. That also for me was confirmation that landscape photography could provide me with so much in terms of photographic knowledge and camera knowledge. I mean, the ability to go to a landscape, shoot a picture, and pull something that can never ever be repeated again, knowing that you were the one to take that photograph is, it's important to yourself, and it is kind of special in a way. So that was also something. And also, the anticipation of going back home and the walk from the area which I took the photograph to my house, that was like such a surreal, filled with anticipation. Oh my God, I can't believe what I've just taken. I'm gonna be so bummed if somebody steals my camera right now, that sort of feeling. So yeah, I only took one good photo last year, but I don't try to take it too seriously because that was the year that I had essentially started with landscape photography. So when I do take photographs like that, or having taken that photograph, I sort of relished as much as I could in that glory, in that moment. There's a second part to this video that I'd like to talk about just very briefly before I sort of give my conclusion and we wrap things up, and that's Instagram. And to be honest, Instagram, it's kind of a platform that really serves a great importance to photographers, especially now more than ever, because it has literally become your portfolio. But Instagram is also something that I think we have to recognize as photographers as being sort of the driving force of our interactions with other photographers, possible job opportunities, potential commissions, and so on. Instagram kind of has a bit of a pitfall, in my opinion, and I, like probably many other photographers, have fallen into that, and that's creating work for the platform, specifically for Instagram, and that's really not great, in my opinion. I don't think it should really be like that, but at one point I will make a video on how Instagram has really changed, in my opinion, photography and the way that we work as photographers in 2021. Yeah, at one point I will create a video about that, because I think it is kind of an important topic and something that really should be discussed. If there's a conclusion to this video, and in my not so humble opinion, if you want to achieve an exceptional image or a great body of work, then I guess you have to accept that you're not 100% or fully, in control of what you shoot.
The key to a happy life is to accept you are never actually in control.
In all seriousness, it's important to persist as a photographer. And the more you go out, the more likely you are to get that exceptional shot, to get that one image that at the end of the year you can be like, wow, that's great, that it's worth it. It makes the whole process worth it. But yeah, I just think that, if it doesn't come your way, then, don't sweat. It happens. Anyway, I really hope you've all enjoyed this video, that you found it somewhat useful and maybe inspiring. But thank you for sticking around until the end. Until next time. Peace, guys.